little longer, maybe, a little less.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So the last bit is about tech roadmap. Uh, and I'll explain like how we are planning to do this step by step. So, we're choosing Cosmos platform to implement the whole mechanism. Cosmos is a open source framework. They also run a chain called IBC where they form a bridge between other Cosmos chains and us. So we're using Cosmos platform mainly because it's not a very huge ecosystem as Ethereum. It's a relatively small ecosystem. The market cap is about 10 to 15% of Ethereum. So it's a small playground for us to play and start testing it out, get wider adoption, then probably scale into Ethereum network via bridge. So and the whole platform is also pretty developer friendly. So that's why we decided to build on Cosmos. Uh, so like we discussed, the central idea of the platform comes with the idea of calculating the network constant X. Like I said, we calculate a network constant which actually looks at the whole network and dynamically comes up with a state telling, hey, should I reward people supporting each other, or should I reduce it a little bit because a lot of people are actually forming mobs or whatever, right, or spam bots or stuff like that. So network constant is a method which we are implementing to look at the network and look at all the states and come up with an idea of how much should we incentivize people for collaborating or voting on each other, right? So that's network constant. uh, we'll come to network constant and how we are implementing in more detail. Essentially, it follows a three-part implementation. There is a consensus layer. Consensus layer happens on this uh, on within Cosmos ecosystem. There is something similar to a database. It's called Tendermint. Tendermint is our core, which stores all the transactions for us and stuff like that. And Cosmos is the wrapper functions on top of Tendermint, and then the consensus happens because there are a lot of validators using it, and then it runs on a 200 validator network. That's what we're targeting initially, who implement the proof of credibility consensus, and we reward them accordingly. So now coming back to X, right? So this is something new we're doing. What we're saying is the way we want to calculate X, we want to keep it off chain, both for technical reasons, because right now the compute that's available on the distributed chains is not enough to calculate something like X. We're talking about million cross million nodes. So we have consulted a lot of people in blockchain ecosystem and people who built on Cosmos before, and they advised us to sort of keep X as a separate super node, where you open up all the state math models or economic models you build into calculating X, but you let the chain sort of query this, right? So the idea is we are keeping the calculation of X off chain uh, in an independent machine run by the foundation, but the model will be opened up for everybody to see, and we are open for anybody to challenge us, saying in case our network constant is wrong, or historically the record of network constant we calculated is wrong. Any other machine can challenge us, and then we have a governance protocol which can actually take away the rights from the foundation to somebody else to calculate X in the future. So we can solve the X trust problem using governance protocols. That's the best way of implementing X for us, by keeping it off chain. So we are calling it a super node. A super node calculates the X value off chain. The X value is based on some kind of state machine. We are looking at state machines or math models. We're looking at economic models, or wealth and node distribution models, and looking at them and then thinking about how can we sort of calculate X to sort of have the culture of the network towards creating a more sustainable, or whichever votes that happen on Mande chain should actually be valuable for people who come onto the network later. So that's the fundamental principle, and of course we have to avoid all the vector attacks onto the network, or we have to avoid the whales problem. That's primarily what we are promising. I mean, on this network, you won't have whales problem the way you had on all the proof of stake chains, right? So how do we sort of avoid the whales problem? So these are the primary considerations we're thinking about on how we are modeling X. And like I said, the value of X will be computed by an independent computer run by the foundation. But the entire model will be opened up to the public. The X values can be audited and computed against any time, and we're building a governance protocol to take care of that. We felt this is the best way to go about doing it. one great example is Terra's crash yesterday, right? In the sense, so Terra is a decentralized algorithmic stablecoin chain. At a point of time, the number of people who are selling off USD, which is a stable coin, has increased dramatically, and the network is not able to decide uh, if they can fund those USD tokens against the Luna tokens they had, and the network, like a $40 billion network, essentially got crashed. So one good solution a lot of people are talking about on Twitter is, like, why is Do Kwon voting on this token sale, or why are people making decisions, or why is it happening decentrally where nobody can control it? It's good to have some level of control system which is openly audited by everybody, and is centralized in some way, but trust is protected. That's the approach we are taking as well in the initial stages. But we'll definitely look at making it more decentralized going on with time. But it's decentralized in the sense that the supernode will be run by a governance protocol and stuff like that. So this is the roadmap we are looking at. We are looking at June, July, and August to launch our testnet. In June, we are going to focus on our Tendermint data model, Cosmos modules, on how do we sort of do the secure messaging and stuff like that, and math models for building out the supernode. In July, we are looking at supernode implementation, proof of credibility implementation, and any bug fixes. We're planning to launch the internal testnet by August, and we are going to do a public testnet launch also by the end of August, and then we are going to call validators to actually launch our main chain. So June, July, and August is our prototyping and launching of the chain. Where we'll, by end of August, we plan to launch our testnet, which anybody can play with free of cost. Post which, after running the testnet and doing all our security checks for a period of time, we plan to go and launch our mainnet. The date for which we'll probably announce in the future. That's the idea. So the team roughly who are working on this, this guy called Ashish. Ashish is handling all the technology, architecture, and stuff like that. So he will plan the sprints for all the other developers and plan out the architecture of the whole thing. And he'll also commit code. Then Samarth and Pratik. Samarth will actually run the main branch on GitHub. He will resolve any doubts any developers has. He'll also maintain the documentation of Mande chain actively, and he'll also commit code. Then we have Pratik. Pratik will take care of the end API design and delivery, and he's the core cryptography guy on our team. So he'll also commit code. There are 3 juniors guys who are supporting them. So Ashish will be supported by Arun, who is from IIT Madras. Samarth will be supported by Sabri, and Pratik will be supported by Divansh. So roughly these how we're going to plan to work on the Cosmos, Tendermint, and models part. And on X, so we have Pradeep helping us out with the core algo and architecture design of X. We have an amazing economist and math models person called Sukanya. So she'll be giving us inputs on math models and economics. Teja is an AI ML guy. So Teja has extraordinary experience in writing models or writing state machines. So Teja and me will be building writing the actual code to deploy the X value. Then all the network simulations around doing the network vector attack simulation and all those factors will be taken into consideration by Mani using his network simulations. I will roughly manage the project and do the coordination between everybody. So this will be the team and responsibility map, and this will be our roadmap. This is how we are planning to launch the chain, guys. Yeah, that's what it is. Any questions? Any thoughts? Pradeep, I didn't actually talk to you about keeping the supernode off chain. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I think we should be open to all those possibilities. I do think that it's going to be quite compute intensive and even storage intensive, and we need other options more than what the validators can provide.
Yeah. So, it'll also give us the breathing space to sort of, if we do any, if you want to make changes to our models or state machine, or, if you want to change, before we actually launch and show it to public, if you want to make any changes to the algorithms or whatever, it'll make it easy for us to do that. I felt that flexibility will come because of that. But yeah, it's not completely decentralized. That's something crypto community is going to ask us about. We need to figure out a way to solve it using some kind of governance method and create the trust saying, okay, we can actually trust the foundation to take care of it, or stuff like that.
Yeah, so a lot of this is in a gray area, right? I mean, just going for some idealistic thing that may not work is worse than going for something that's mostly decentralized but works. Right? That's probably better. When, as you mentioned about Terra and Luna, right? Terra tried to portray idealistically that it will be a very stable coin, and when people lose trust in it, it just plummets. Right? The reason it plummeted is because Bitcoin, if it fluctuates between whatever 30,000 and 20,000, people are okay with it. Uh, they still have faith in it. Whereas if a stable coin that says that it is always $1, it goes to 98 cents, people lose trust in it and everybody sells. So there's no need to portray a false sense of perfectness. So you start with what is workable and then you try to improve it incrementally.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely. And also, I mean, we are exploring if there are ways in which we can actually run math models at scale in a decentralized fashion. And luckily enough, there are some protocols coming up, like people who are figuring out how do I build decentralized, or how can I run the same model on the same data set in a decentralized fashion and then vote on each other. I mean, there is a company called Fetch Data AI which is working on it. There are some early stage protocols who are working in the direction, which is definitely our long term hope. As we work on X, we can actually leverage some of these upcoming protocols in the ecosystem to sort of do X in a decentralized way. Before that, we have to put our math models and everything in public. Of course, our code is on GitHub. Anybody can audit that. So that's one thing. And second thing is, if anyone sort of wants to take the shoulder, in the sense, who will calculate X? Should it be Mande guys? Should be the foundation, or should it be somebody else? So at some point in the future, it might not necessarily be us. It can be somebody else who comes up and the whole Mande ecosystem votes on them, saying they are a better calculator of X. We can probably pass the flag to them to calculate X at that point of time. So we can also look at implementing such a governance protocol to do that. These are the rough thought processes that came up in our discussions internally. Just wanted to share it across. So anybody who's into crypto, what are your thoughts on that from the audience? You can type it in the text box. Arun, Divanj, what do you guys think of this? Stop sharing my screen. And yeah, not to mention, this will actually make our go-to-market so easy. We can launch fast. So that's one more added advantage, to really entrepreneurially test it first, to validate all our assumptions and see if it's working before we actually decentralize the value of X. So that's one more advantage. Any thoughts to add, Arun, Saiteja, Divansh, or we're done?
No, man, nothing much from my side. I mean,
Okay.
it's exciting to see what is there in the future, what future holds. But yeah, I think I've shared enough.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Teja. Arun and Divansh, any thoughts from you guys? I mean, things have evolved a lot since you started working on this, right? So, any notes on that?
Yeah, yeah, it sounds exciting, and let's see how it goes in June and July. Really looking forward to work on it and execute and implement this.
Awesome. Eh, Arun, generally you ask me very tricky questions. Anything for you to ask me? What do you feel about calculating X in a centralized way? Arun? I'm not sure if he's around. Okay. Cool, guys. On that note, let's end this call. Thanks a lot for everybody attending and just sharing your FaceTime with public to tell about Mande Chain. I mean, the idea of building a crypto company is building it in public, because the whole idea is the promise that we are making to the world is that we are figuring out a way to create trust using math or using a cryptographic protocol or stuff like that. So the way we build this, or every Web3 company gets built these days, is on air meets, on Slack, on Discord channels. So this is the first call we did on air meets. Thanks a lot for all the audience who attended. Means a lot. Please keep in touch. Anything you want to ask us, or if you want to participate, if you want to code, or if you want to sort of support us or help us grow, please message me or drop a message on our Discord channel. One of us will get back to you, and we can add you to the team. We are recruiting a lot, and this will help us recruit the right set of people into our team. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot, Pradeep, Teja, Rafael, for coming on, taking the time.
Thanks, Sandeep, for organizing this.
Yeah, this is the first community call. I'll try not to waste your time. We'll actually spend time on building. So, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.